So we're trying to rebuild the scale garage here, and this is what happens when you have your kids in the shop while you're doing that. Have a look. I mean, the poor guy. So I'm going to spend a few minutes making a scale bench here and give you a quick little tutorial on what's going on with the bench. So the first thing to do is figure out the actual width and height that you want your bench to stand. So this particular one we're using is, let me just check this again here. We've got about 3 1/4 high on the bench standing up. And then the length of this bench is going to be just under 14 inches. So the top of the bench I will actually make overhang the top. And then we put the uprights on the top rail of the post. And we duplicated that again on this one. So now we actually have the left side and the right, sort of the back of the bench and the front of the bench. And then when these get glued together, we're going to stand them up and glue them together like this. So what we're going to end up with is a bottom shelf in here all the way down, and then the top surface here, and then from the front it'll be open in the front, and we'll have a floor pan in it, and we're going to overhang the top wood. So at this edge the wood will actually come out away from the face of the bench just a little bit to cover it up, kind of like how we do it on the real one. And so now I've got the side supports going down, and I've got the bottom posts for the bottom shelf. I've got the top bars in for the top shelf, and I'm going to actually attach these two together here and then get some wood on the face of the bench. So it's all glued up. I've got the two sides put together, and it's pretty straight, it's pretty solid, it's gonna sit nice on the floor, so that's good. And I'm gonna cut up some little micro ply to put on top here, and we'll hope for the best. So I got the top on, and I want to tell you how I did this. I put these gigantic, really heavy bolts on top of it, like this, to try to hold the weight down on top of it when I was gluing it, and that works really, really well. And it's coming out nice and square. The bench has the bottom floor on it now, and the top shelf, you see how the top shelf overhangs the framework. And this is the type of material that I was using. So the first type of material is this 3/16 by 3/8 balsa. That's the framework. And then the actual sheet that I use for the shelving is this one here, which is, I think, looks like a 1/16 by 3, and it's uncut on the top. So the top is actually 3 inches wide right here, and then the bottom I trimmed it down to fit inside the framework, which was 65 millimeters wide total. And just give you an idea of how I'm doing the gluing here. So I've got the deck on the bottom shelf here, but it's just kind of sitting there like it's free, right? So what I'm doing is, now that the thing is all squared up and stuff, I'm just putting this thin CA in the joint. So you just have to hold it with your finger and run a little line of thin CA down there. And because this is all balsa, everything just like, it soaks in, and it's cured in seconds. So, you know, then I'll get to the next one here and run a little line of glue across there, just like that. And I don't need any more than that, because of course the bottom shelf is supported by these bottom framing. So, you know, the shelf, I'm just trying to keep the shelf from lifting up. And really easy, just run a line there. You don't need much. The thin stuff is really, really liquidy and wet. So you can see there how it soaks right into the grain in the wood. And it just creates this really, really solid unit. And that's the same way that we did these framing joints as well. Works really good. So we've got it in the studio here in the garage now, and I want to tell you about something to check. You know, of course you hand make these things out of wood, and so you're never really sure how they're going to sit on the floor. And you can see here right on this bottom corner, this one leg is like a little bit short. See how it's teetering there, and it's teetering from this leg and that leg right there. So what I'm going to do is actually just sand those off very slightly to bring it down. The back seems to be pretty good, but this side is a little bit high. So this is a pretty simple process. I mean, just get a board, piece of balsa or whatever, and then just sand that off. A little bit like that. You probably don't need very much at all. And I'll sand this side off a little bit. And then we'll check that a little bit more on this one. I know I'm probably being really picky here, but there. I like how that sits now. There's a tiny little bit of a teeter in it, but it's very, very small. You can just see the smallest little gap there at the front corner, so I'm pretty happy with that. There we go. Perfect. All fixed. And now we got to get it weathered up, and we'll get it set up in the garage here and put all the stuff on it. And I got to make a drill press and stuff, but the garage is coming along. And so we got a bit of a finished up garage here. There's still some more accessories to put in, but I want to give you a tour of what's going on. So you can see we've got the parts washer there and a little bit of storage, and then this is our RC bench here, where we actually do, on the left side of the screen you can see we've got our Willys over there and all of our sponsors. And then of course we have a bit of a welding section there, and we just kind of use that to get the frames going, and you know, that new trick where you bend a piece of hot steel into an RC frame and then you saw it in half. Well, that's kind of the area for that. And then this is our new bench that we were working on in this video, and apparently on the right hand side, whoever's building the tiny trucks has been using the right hand post to test his spray cans, so I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not, but that's our new bench. And you can see our new scale garage that we've got. We set this up on the bench as well, next to the toolbox. And then there's a nice list. We're going to start a list on the pegboard there on the wall, and that'll tell us kind of what's next up for doing the full-size trucks. The air compressors there as well, and then some of our great sponsors, SPG, and we love to go to events like East Coast Scale Challenge, so we've got some banners up from that. And then of course we moved to the left side of the garage, and there's quite a bit going on this side already. We've got the Challenger lift from Exclusive RC. Really happy to have that in the shop, and great toolbox, some storage, whole bunch of rims left over there, and Sam's going to work on the Subaru there and try to get some work done on that. Obviously the exhaust pipe fell off the back, so we have to fix that. And that's kind of where we're at so far with the garage. Really happy with the progress on the new workbench. It looks the part, and we're happy to have it set up and get everything in it. Hope you guys enjoy this, and make yourself a bench for your scale garage.